It's Friday. That means it's another comic book show roundup. On Supergirl, Kara had to face the consequences of her actions when at work, because she refused to let her boss know that she's Supergirl. Her actions just keeps coming off as flaky, so Cat Grant hired another assistant who is basically going to eventually take her place. And then she is kidnapped by this alien prison guard who holds her captive in this prison cell using Krypton sunlight, and treats her the same way, basically the way she is treating Max Lord. While there, another alien prisoner tells her that one tragedy cannot be undone by another. So she heeds this, bit of advice from him by letting Max Lord go, but she ignores it at the same time by refusing to forgive Hank for killing her Aunt Astra, which is the biggest injustice of the episode because he's innocent. On The Flash, this episode was basically Earth 2 Fallout. Yeah, there were a lot of references to Jaws because of King Shark. Basically, everyone was still carrying around what they went through on Earth 2. Wells advises Cisco and Barry to put it behind them and not to tell anybody about it. So of course they immediately go out and tell everybody, what they went through on Earth 2. Barry apologized to the team about, the consequences of his actions, and resolves to go back to Earth 2 and stop Zoom. And we learned that Zoom was Jay. Figure that. Or at least he looks like Jay. Because he looked like Jay and he was still carrying Jay's dead body. It was weird and shocking all at once. On Agent Carter, we have another 2-hour episode. And in the background of the we need to stop Whitney Frost at all costs drama, we have Jarvis and One Tree Hill with their own dilemmas. We find that Jarvis's wife is paying for the consequences of him insisting on being a part of Peggy's adventures, and he's blaming everyone but himself for it. And One Tree Hill discovers that he backed the wrong horse by throwing in with Red Foreman and Whitney Frost, so he decides to make them pay by blowing them up. Now, we don't see the consequences of his actions until next week, but we all saw those previews, and it is a major mess up. On Arrow, this episode gave me mad father's rights issues. I cannot agree with the advice that Vixen gave him. I agree with Bickle. You protect them by keeping them close. So now you're gonna send this boy away, and he's not gonna know who his father is until after he turns 18? Shenanigans. So basically you're saying Oliver didn't plan on having any children, despite the fact that he and Felicity were going to get married. I just do not agree with that. And then we find out that it was Psycho Dad who kidnapped William. So you can leave this fool alive so he can have a relationship with your sister, but you can't have a relationship with your own son? Shenanigans. On Legends of Tomorrow, Captain British tries to get everyone to fix the ship and then leave, saying that this is a future, not the future, and they can have a chance to change this when they go back to their own timeline. Sarah points out to him that Carter is never going back to his own timeline, and there is no guarantee that they won't all die, especially when the leader of the team is willing to sacrifice them each and every episode. Last week, he was willing to kill old Firestorm. This week, he wanted to leave Sarah in 2046, despite the fact that it's his fault that they're there in the first place. Of all the people facing up to their consequences this week, he owned up to his the least. Despite his hypocritical and annoying actions, this was the best episode of Legends of Tomorrow so far. So this week, a lot of people had to face up to the consequences of their actions. Some learned from them, some did not. On Agent Carter, Wilkes took responsibility for his actions and did not play the blame game like everyone else. He was the only one to do so this week. So where do you stand on Errol's father's rights issues? Do you think that Oliver did the right thing, or do you think it was a cop-out? Vote in the comments below. And remember to tweet along with me as I live tweet these shows. And my Twitter handle is @LavalleisPics, and that's Lavallais, P-I-C-S. And remember, sharing is caring. Share this video with all of your friends and enemies. Gotta go. See you when I see you.